the Mark 6. We are now on version 6, and this is where we're at. Oh, yeah, that's pretty nice. So what we did was, one, we made some spacers on the 3D printer. And they look... Hold on. Let's start over here. Let's start over. Okay, the Mark 6, looking really good. What we did was we made some spacers. On the 3D printer, we printed these little washers. Okay. Made them thin enough, and it took several tries. I think it took for 4 versions to get the washer right. Problem with 3D printing is anything you 3D print is never totally dimensionally accurate, and it is based on layers. And one of the problems is, so here's the version just before the finished version. This one was printed with a hole which should have been the right size for the axle, which is just a piece of 14 gauge copper ground wire. However, due to the fact that each layer is 0.3 millimeters, what it will do is it will round. It'll round the number of layers needed, and it was too tight. And then for several versions I kept using the tap, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to tap it anymore. And its thickness, while right on, was also rounded, and I was using this big file to file them down. I don't want to do that either. There's too many of them. Each gear gets 2 of them. Each gear in here gets 1 on each side, and I'm like, no, way too much work. We can't have that. So what I did was I counted layers, which I should have done right off the bat. I counted layers, and then I set it up that way. Okay, we're going to take a look at this in a second here. Now, we're all the way up to here. Here's a piece of 14 gauge copper ground wire from some household wiring. This worm does fit on here, and it's snug. It's not totally tight. I think a drop of super glue on either end will be good enough to test this as a worm gear, which will also get a couple of these little spacers on the ends. Just like that. And we will make some sockets to fit on there. Screw in place. All right, let's take a look at this guy. Let's zoom in. Let's just have a quick look. There he is. And now I have, if I mount this guy here, I put the ends at an angle so that we can get some up and down like this. We need that to make this thing super reliable. And then, unfortunately, somewhere around this table, well, maybe it's over on the other table. Okay, so I made this for a piece. I have a piece of steel rod that I salvaged from that old Epson printer. From one of the... Remember when I broke down those 2 printers that I was going to throw away? I broke them down and took all the parts out. So I've got some rods from there. I got a piece of rod just for that. And I've got some rods coming, hopefully today or tomorrow, that I found on Amazon just for this purpose, to make a pintle. Make the pintle right there. It'll be just a tiny little thing. It'll fit in here somehow. Probably I'm going to screw a piece of oyster tin across here with I'm going to put a piece of oyster tin with a hole in it, and that'll be my pintle. And then I'll be able to screw on some arms onto this part that I made for the worm gear. Because remember that thing I got? This thing? All these tiny little screws, which are less than size 2. We're going to make use of them. Anyways, here we go. Check it out. That is by far the smoothest. This is by far the smoothest truck this is the smoothest truck that I've ever tested. Not just because I made it. I mean, this is the... Oops. Okay, hold on. We don't have these trucks locked in here yet. So we might as well take a look at it then. And So these little phosphor bronze nuts, they fit in there just perfect. And I already tested. Let me show you. A little piece of copper like this fits right in there. And there's going to be a copper strip along the bottom. And then I'll be able to bring power up from that strip somewhere up here. Or somewhere up here. And it'll have power. Okay. So let's take a look at it then. There it is. Beauty. Now remember, this truck is also infinitely extendable. We can have 4 axles, we can have 5 axles, we can have as many axles as we want in both directions, both out to the front and to the rear. These, and then I ordered these gears off Amazon. So 50 of them are a little less than 10 bucks of each kind. I just had to figure out what kind to get. Now I don't have the trucks locked down with a bottom plate yet. So let's see if we can get them in there again. Get them on the track here. Okay. Now also, because of the way I made the side frames, or the gear tower, I should not need to worry about the all-terrain ability like on the SDP40, because the side, or the gear tower sockets are deeper. I think that's going to work. I don't know yet. I'm going to make another one and then we're going to find out. But I think we're going to get ready to power this thing up. Get the worm in there. We got to build a plate here, a plate there, and a couple of arms, no big deal. We need to build a plate here and a plate there to put our worm gear set up in there. And then we're set. Mark 6 is the best yet. So let's keep on improving.